A Green Man Tale, a story of nature fighting back. Alex surveyed the overgrown cemetery with its worn gravestones and rampaging ivy. Although small, it was one of those places that tugged at your senses. He could imagine Victorians in stiff collars or crinoline dresses standing at the graves in solemn prayer. "There must have been a chapel here once," he said. A small sound of exasperation escaped from his wife's lips. "Centuries ago," Emma said. "Nothing left now except a few old headstones. And the trees, of course." "Ah, yes, the trees." Alex had to lean his head back to take the full measure of the oak, which dwarfed all of the other trees. Its trunk was so large he couldn't even stretch his arms halfway around. The notion came to him that this sleepy grove could have been here since medieval times, or even before. "Maybe we should keep the oak. It must be ancient." "Alex, stop being so sentimental. It's a tree, not a puppy, and it happens to be blocking the area where the pool house will go." It occurred to Alex that he'd rather have trees than a pool. He knew full well that Emma, with her perfectly tailored suits and sophisticated heels, would never set foot in its expensively heated water. Instead, like the newly purchased house with its 6 bathrooms, it would be a talking point to demonstrate how well off they were to friends. Well, her friends mainly. His friends were happy enough to contemplate the value of a pint of dizzy duck in comparison to beaver ale. Alex bent down to examine a sculpted face on the top of a gravestone. "We've got a green man," he said, his voice filled with pride. Stone leaves sprouted from its nostrils like some ancient tree spirit. Emma eyed the sculpture with a look that Alex knew well. She had given the same look to his best friend Mike the first time she met him. "Why on earth do you hang around with a layabout like that?" she'd later said. "To go up in this world, you need to socialise with the right people." Mike, apparently, didn't count as one of them. Still, Alex managed to see him on the quiet, down at the local pub. It wasn't a place Emma was ever likely to visit. "That gravestone will go under the bulldozer like everything else," she said. "This complete area needs clearing." On that bright note, she made an about-turn and marched back up to the house. For some reason, the grove reminded Alex of himself. He'd once been considered a quirky dresser and worn his hair in a retro quiff. Emma had bulldozed that out of him. Now he wore outfits of her choosing that made him feel like an overdressed shop dummy. Wherever originality or unruliness sprouted, she would weed it out. Giving one last wistful look at the leafy clearing with its handful of old gravestones surrounded by trees, he trudged after her. Alex jolted awake, wondering what dream he'd left behind. It must have been a good one, because he still had the smile on his face. "Alex, wake up!" Emma's strident voice battered his ears. "What's that noise?" No matter how much he told her he couldn't hear a thing, she insisted he should investigate. And so he found himself down by the site for the pool house at 1 a.m. in his pyjamas. Like a sergeant major, Emma prodded him onwards. "It's definitely coming from down here. Take a look around the graves and in the trees." With only one small torch to light the way, Alex couldn't see much at all. He blundered between the gravestones but found no one. The place was, well, quiet as a graveyard. The moon peeked out from behind a cloud, casting an unearthly light upon the clearing. Emma seemed transfixed by the sculpted face of the green man. "It's even more ugly by moonlight." Then, unusually, she seemed lost for words. "Back. We need to go back," she sputtered, turning away. He shook his head, wishing she'd make her mind up. But then she stumbled, as though she'd snagged her foot. "Help! Alex! The vines!" Her voice was panicked, frantic. Is she having a breakdown? Alex went over to help her up. Only then did he see the ivy snaking around her legs. His eyes were drawn back to the face in the stone. The expression didn't look the same as before. He quickly understood why. The leaves coming from its nostrils had grown. Now they stretched out towards Emma, as though alive. Like a bird being pulled into the jaws of death, Emma struggled, her hands grabbing hold of grass, leaves, stones. Alex tried to help, to free her, but he didn't have a knife, or anything else to cut the vines with. Slowly and steadily, she was dragged bodily towards the grave. "Alex, do something!" she cried. But by that point, the ivy was around her neck. It was almost peaceful when she stopped talking. Alex slumped to the ground, where he sat and watched the last of his wife disappear into the soil and dead leaves. Bizarrely, he couldn't cry for her. He stayed there until all was quiet, and the green man had once again become stone. Before leaving, he walked towards the strange foliate sculpture. He bent down and, in a whisper, said, "No bulldozers, then." A story inspired by the mysterious green man sculptures and carvings. They are mostly found in medieval churches or cathedrals. Yet there is no explanation as to why these designs were used. Some believe their origins go back to ancient tree worship.